Wayne's World, party time, excellent. Woo, 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 woo. Okay. Party on, Garth.
Party on, Des.
Wait, should you be?
Or is it rock on?
Oh, no, I think it's party on.
Well, I have the hat and the
You
hair.
had the hair, though.
Right on. That's the best.
I don't really have
Is
the
it
blonde
Wayne?
hair either.
I don't know.
But your hair looks more like Wayne Campbell than mine does.
Yeah.
So actually,
guess
that
I'll be
movie,
Wayne.
that movie was just on.
What?
Oh, I love that movie.
I used to love like playing outside and it'd be like, game off.
So now that we're already like 40 seconds into this thing, welcome back. So episode 2 Q&A with Alyssa and Dusty. I think that the first episode we did, very improvisational. We're doing it again.
Yeah, that's how we roll, guys.
We have somewhat of a script or whatever, but we kind of just go off what we're feeling or thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We had some good comments back about the last episode that we did. Some people came up to me anonymously. It's like, I didn't want to say anything. I was like, okay. I mean,
like bad stuff?
No.
Like criticism?
like good stuff.
Thanks.
I didn't really think though that we were really that awesome to listen to, but some people will say that. Some people were telling me that they listened to us in their car, and I'm going, man, I feel like a celebrity.
I know, thanks. Yeah, I actually did get a message that was like, man, you're way better than the podcast that I had. And I was like, all right, maybe we'll go somewhere with this someday.
Yeah, right. No, well, hey, what happened to the shirt?
I know, I missed the memo. I thought if we were going to change it up a little bit, and I forgot to ask you.
You're supposed to tell me.
I know, I messed that one up. It's okay. My hat's on, though. To start with,
it's still
so
the
we're
same.
good.
It's always the same.
We're good.
You know, I watched that video probably a bunch of times, and I still I look like an idiot. Like I still talk out of the side of my mouth, but I never realized I do it. And then sometimes I would listen to it, and you're very clear on the video, and then I'm like blah 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 blah. And I can hear myself obviously in my head. I don't think I'm that low.
I don't know.
Maybe I should like yell or something.
Speak from here. I coach a lot. I have to yell at people.
But people, I think, would say that I'm the one that typically yells.
That's also true. I don't know. If I'm going to be real honest, my biggest concern was my lazy eye drifting. Like when I tend to focus somewhere, it'll catch. And so I was like,
I don't even remember what eye it is anymore.
It's my left eye.
Like you can't see anything right here?
No. I mean, I can see your thumb because of this eye.
Right up, but I mean like...
Nope.
So how do you deal with that with fights?
I'm really fast.
I mean, you just like hold it up?
Yeah. Bob calls it my lazy jab. I kind of like use it as a feeler, but then people will counter it, so. I don't know. I just adjusted. I was born like that, so I really just adjusted.
But talking about MMA though, I mean, during the fight, they do use their feelers to determine distance, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. They're touching?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to figure out what distance is.
Right, yeah. Trying to figure out if I'm in punching range or kicking range or if I'm going to take you down or so many things to think about. So
when you were fighting Lauren, when she was training for her last fight, didn't she hit you in that eye?
Yeah, so Lauren was actually training for an overhand right, which is my worst enemy. And I was very fresh into fighting again, so it just kept me on my toes. So I just made it a habit to like, don't let go of your cheek.
Were you wearing headgear?
No.
So like boxing glove, just...
Not even boxing gloves.
Oh, she was wearing
just fours. We just cover the knuckles, so.
Man, okay. So that's why it was so black and blue.
Yeah, that's why I was swollen.
All right, so getting into some of the stuff that we have for y'all. Gym happenings. So I'll just kind of go down the list. Row Quintero?
Yes, not to be mistaken with the rower, but Row the human.
What?
You said row, like people are gonna think we're talking about rowers.
Okay. That did not like even come across my mind at all.
Maybe that's where I went. I was like, what rowing competition are we talking about? I'm sorry, Ro.
So Ro is with us. Ro is from Swift Recovery. Actually, I just posted a video about stuff that he does. You can go look at it. He's got a whole long history in the fitness industry. He's a really nice guy. Some of the cool things that lately that I've talked to people, because I always ask feedback, right? He's been here for what, 2 weeks?
About 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll talk about some people. Like Daryl came to me. Daryl is so shy. He's so awesome. I love that guy to death. But he was telling me that he's been having a problem with his foot, and he's seen a whole bunch of other people. And Ro was the first person that ever actually fixed it for him.
Oh wow, that's really good.
So yeah, and then I noticed that Kim and Lindsay Mikado have been seeing.
Yeah.
Wait, what was her maiden name?
That's
Hetzel, that's right.
Yoga Lindsay.
I've already forgot. So he's a really nice guy. He kind of is a nomad. He goes from gym to gym. He's over at Athlete Connection, which is down in Katy. Mary actually knew him from there, didn't she?
Yes, so I actually got a hold of him because he works on Andrew and Hillary, my sister.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and we
Okay,
actually live in the same neighborhood, so.
Wait, so he lives in that neighborhood too?
Yeah. I know.
Hey, guess who I saw last night?
Who?
Ty Mills.
Oh, yeah. Where you at, Ty?
So it was me, Courtney, the baby, Jace, Brooke, and Tanner, and then Kim and Ty.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and so Ty's the one that actually set it up.
All right.
Like I think messaged Courtney and Kim.
All right,
and
you're
Brooke.
off the hook then, Ty.
I told him though, I was like, I asked him where he was at. And you know, people go to different places for different reasons.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally fine.
It does hurt my heart, right? It really does.
I mean, you know,
'Cause
you gotta do you. I get it. We all have different goals.
we have different goals. We do certain things, different cultures, different places. Sometimes you just gotta change it up, but no one's changing anything up right now. Anyway, he said that he was down the Flex place.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they had closed
I think they switched owners.
because now there's one on 529 too. It's called Flex, but it's never busy. Like I don't see.
I'm not sure. If I'm gonna be real honest, I don't keep up with the competition or other gyms.
I do.
I'm really bad about that. Like I like to just focus on what Grindhouse is doing.
I mean that's a good. I mean that's
You know.
good, but
But
I
mean,
look.
I know. But I know you look, so that's why I don't.
Is that how kind of the yin,
But I also
the
take
yin and the
things-
yang go?
And I take things really personally, so I try not to look at all.
Oh my God, you do. Yes, we can talk about that at some other point. I'm gonna move this out of the way.
Save that for a different session.
The point is I was giving him a hard time. You know, I had to about the gym,
course.
and I was like, you know, our flock tends to wander back after a while because we've had several people come back
true.
in
I
the
know.
last year. Oh no, several months
Yeah.
that were gone for a while. They go out, they test the waters, they realize that.
Man, G House is where it's at.
of course, we're biased.
We're just a little biased.
You know.
That's
So
awesome.
back to Roe, right? So go see him. He's more than happy to like kind of do an assessment. He uses the Theragun plus a lot of active release, right?
Right, yeah, and he does stretching. I actually locked up my trap sparring. I promise I don't get as hurt as I say as I do, like when I'm doing MMA. But it is a violent sport, and you are wrapped up in a pretzel. But I locked up my trap in MMA the other day, and like I just kept like turning my neck, and I was like, "Do you have like 3 minutes?" And like, no joke, just like, well, unlocked it, stretched my pec, stretched my lat, and I was like, "Thank you," and it was awesome. So, go see him. Do it.
How's your knee?
My knee's been okay. It hasn't popped out in a while, but I do a lot of mobility. So like any of the homework that he gives you, or if your coach is on the floor giving you rehab or prehab, like do it. Like I am like president of the rehab prehab club.
Wait, so didn't jujitsu like pop your knee out?
Yes, and I like got an MRI. I thought my meniscus was torn. The ortho thought my meniscus was torn. MRI came back fine. I have arthritis and some inflammation.
I got lots of arthritis and inflammation.
And I was like, but yeah. So basically, he told me, "Well, quit doing the thing that hurts your knee," and I was like, no. But it was actually I've just been focusing on my VMO, and it's helped so far.
Yeah.
But I just started picking up training a lot, so we'll see how long it can hang.
So VMO, for those that don't know, VMO, I'll lift my leg up, is this inside muscle on your quad. Right there, can you see it? This one. And this outside one is your vastus lateralis. There you go.
Yeah.
Learning some
We're
anatomy
educated
today.
around here too. Just FY.
Yeah, that's the reason why. I would love to do jujitsu, but I'm so afraid of, with all the crap that's happened to my knees, of twisting one. And to me, it wouldn't be worth it.
No, you should do boxing though.
I would love to do boxing, but
you're pretty strong.
I don't know how to fit it in.
Yeah, I get that.
I've got to cut something out. And I can't cut anything out right now.
No. You have competition coming up too.
Yeah, 2 weeks. All right, so actually speaking about MMA, right? So MMA is in full effect. We're treading along with jiu-jitsu twice a week, and you guys have been going on Saturdays sometimes?
Yes. We don't have class this Saturday because I'm doing a rock climbing competition. Oh yeah, I do that too. But we have been adding like Tuesday, Thursday night class, and then Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. It's literally for all levels. So we have Shira coming now, and Vanessa. Tyron's been loyal. He's been coming since day one. Shout out to Cisco.
I was gonna say it too.
He knows I love him. It's fine.
He had to have known that.
He said it himself, so I'm just taking his joke.
Okay, so on Sunday we razz everybody on Sunday because of the bench bros.
Yeah.
And so I'm always there first. Whatever. I was on the turf. Ty always walks in like right at 8:30 on the dot. And so Greg and I were sitting there on the turf, and Greg was doing his normal like foam rolling routine, and I'm doing my normal stretching routine. I look up and I was like,
who are you?
I was like, what is that? What possessed you to do that to your hair? And then the whole morning,
oh no,
like we were calling him Dennis Rodman and asking him when he was getting his piercing.
Oh my
I asked
God.
him when he was inviting Kim Jong-un to come talk to Donald Trump. I mean, like,
he's showing up in a wedding dress. What are we doing?
The whole morning.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
and then so the first thing on Monday when I saw Thomas and I walked in, he's like, "Did you see Tyron's hair?" And I said, "Yeah," and I started telling the same stories. And he showed me a picture. He's like, "Yeah, this was him this morning at work." And it was him. He's like, the first thing we started doing is asking to play the thong song.
Oh my God.
And then Ty told me that he walked in to like from the office or something, and they held up the phone. It was just like thong, da dong, thong,
Oh
dong.
my poor guy. He's like, forget this. He's gonna come back bald next week. Just couldn't handle it.
I asked him. I was like, "So what possessed you to do this?" And he said, "Oh, it's just something I've always wanted to do." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want." He's like, "I checked with work, and they said as long as it's not like blue, green, or something like that, then
Yeah.
they were okay with it." So he's like, he went blonde.
All right.
So there we go. Oh, but back
like
to back to MMA. So striking, like I haven't been over there in a couple weeks. How's the striking class going?
It's good. We need more people, new people. Like, I think Lindsay mentioned some of you guys might be a little intimidated, which I get. Like, some of us have been doing this for a long time, so we are a little more experienced. But the MMA community is probably one of the most welcoming communities, like, for people who are eager to learn and just want to be part of it. So we have...
Until they hit you in the face.
Until they hit you.
No, I'm just
But
kidding.
even then, no.
Boom.
No, I'm just kidding.
You okay down
Yeah,
there?
we might go hard with each other, but like for the most part, a lot of us have been doing this for so long, like you're not going to get beat up, I promise. And if you need to ask people, you can talk to Jason Busby, you can talk to Shira, you can talk to Kelly Roberts, like it's a lot of fun. And it's also just a great workout. You're working the entire hour, like we're dripping in sweat, like to the point of wringing your clothes out. Like you don't even realize how much you're working until you're done with the class.
You're talking specifically about striking.
Yeah, striking, yes. Jiu-jitsu, you're going to burn a lot more calories. That's a total body movement, like you're on the ground. Gymnastics plays a lot more role in the jiu-jitsu, just in the positions that you're in, but you're also wearing a very heavy uniform, so you're sweating.
How come
it's just fun.
How come you guys don't do no-gi?
Because we don't like it. Kristen and I are a little biased to the gi. That's kind of where we learn, but a lot of the no-gi stuff we do in the mornings with the MMA guys.
Okay.
Jiu-jitsu with no-gi, all it would require was to take our jiu-jitsu tops off.
So speaking of fighters, like how many people now do we have with us that are like training?
As far as active fighters, let's see, Kristen, she's from one of the fighters from Main Street. She fights next week in Arlington. We have Jacob Berry. He's always here, curly hair in the morning. I'm sure you've seen him.
He's really nice.
Yeah,
I like
he's
him.
an awesome guy. We're really lucky to have him here.
Doesn't he do Muay Thai?
Yes, he does Muay Thai, and he'll be transitioning to MMA, which I can't wait to see him in MMA. He was actually a team roper, so his like sense
that?
of like riding horses, like team roping.
Oh, roping.
Yeah, roping. So like his just sense of center, like it's crazy. You can't take him down. Like it's almost impossible.
Huh.
Yeah, and then once he mounts you, like you're not getting up. So. And he's really strong. It's been nice because this is the first time he's had like an actual gym with resistance training. So, I mean, he's put on a lot of muscle. We're to the point where I was like, all right, no more. Like you have to cut weight, and we don't know what your body's gonna do yet, you know. So, he's fighting
Where's
in
he from?
Corpus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he just moved here. He's been here for a couple months now. But he fights in 3 weeks, I believe, along with Ashley, who's been coming in the mornings. They're fighting in Iowa for a Muay Thai tournament. And then we have Kristen, and then we have GH's Derek Lewis fighting in November. So we're officially out from the last couple months. We had just been working on strengthening his quad and his leg and his balance because he had MCL surgery a little earlier this year. And now we're basically on the 2-a-day schedule. So, he does an hour with me where we're focusing on him being just fast and powerful.
So let me ask you this question. Well, one of the things I was going to ask you is about Derek Lewis because, I don't get to be here in the mornings as much as I would like. But when I come in, he's working with Bob. One of the things that always impresses me, is he's a big dude. How much does he weigh now?
Right now he's at like 270.
Okay,
274.
So, he's a big guy,
Yes.
and Bob sits there with those little small noodles, and he pushes the noodles forward, and Derek's supposed to hit them, right? And man, his hand speed is so fast.
He's very fast, and the amount of power that comes from that man is it's insane.
Didn't you tell me that Cormier said that he was...
Cormier? Yeah.
Cormier.
Yeah, Daniel Cormier had an interview the other day, and they asked him, who's the, who hit you the hardest out of all the heavyweights? And he was like, oh, hands down, Derek Lewis. So, actually, we were working mitts the other day, and he popped the seams off of Bob's pad from hitting so hard.
Oh, yeah?
He punched it, and it just went...
So, I'm wondering, Bob, he's sitting there, that has got to hurt every once in a while, even with the big, giant pad.
Yeah, it hurts. But Bob's done it for so long,
Oh, yeah.
I think, but at the same time, you'll see Bob wear a belly pad just in case, a belly pad, or, he holds really tight, because if you let your arm loose, your shoulder's going to break. There's no way. So as much, force as Derek imposes, Bob has to do it almost equally, so his arm.
So getting into more of the training protocol, what kind of exercises do you specifically have Derek do, and what's your deciding factor of what you choose for him to do? Because the other day I saw the video on our Instagram, because I reposted one of the videos of him carrying kegs. And so I was like, that's pretty cool. Because we do keg carries a lot in strongman and stuff like that. And I was like, I was kind of wondering in my head at that point, I'm like, why should you have him doing that? So if
yeah, definitely. So one thing about MMA is I not only have to be fast and explosive, I also have to be able to last 5 rounds, right? So it's almost counterintuitive. I have to, with football, it's it's one thing. I'm either passing, tackling, or I'm sprinting. With MMA, you have to have flexibility, you have to be strong, you have to have endurance, you have to have muscular endurance if you have to keep going. So a lot of my workouts I kind of break down by days. So Monday we do a lot more strength work, so just more explosive stuff. So I had him on the belted squats. He'll do the heavy ball over the shoulder. So basically if I took your back and I'm trying to take you to the ground, I'm simulating that. Also, I like to do a lot of back work with fighters because it's such a forward motion. So we're always punching, right? So our shoulders are usually rotated forward. I know I have bad posture. I'm always doing this with some kind of shoulder. So we have to have a really strong back to be able to support that. So we work his back a lot.
I was talking to Ro about that because the ratio that I've always utilized is 2 pulls to 1 push because I do so much pressing. And Ro, I think, was saying it was 3 to 2, which is relatively close. But he put it in a good way is if you've got to, I heard him say it to somebody else too. He's like, you got to have the brakes. So you're doing so much pressing, but if you don't have the brakes to stop it, you're going to have shoulder problems.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I don't think a lot of fight coaches or kind of utilize back work. So I make sure, he's doing the landmine, or we're on the hammer strength machine, or we're doing, I think we did incline rows the other day. And now that we're into camp, there's a lot of endurance, so circuits. So I had him do 1 minute sprint on the skier, 100-pound ball over the shoulder, and then he had to hit noodles with Bob.
So do you break it up kind of the way the fight would go?
Yes.
So it's 5-minute rounds?
Yes, and we kind of ease up to those 5-minute rounds. So right now we're in the 3s because we have some time. So next week we'll start doing 4 and 5-minute rounds. And then I like to even push the pace a little bit more. Sometimes I'll put in 7s, just so at that 5-minute mark you're like, oh, I'm still good. I could go for 2 more minutes. But as far as the keg walks go, a lot of the stuff that we did that day was really just trying to burn out his legs so that he still could like maintain proper technique with Bob with fatigued legs.
Right.
Because I think that's one of the biggest things is once you're in the cage, your adrenaline's going, but the minute you're like, oh my God, my legs are tired, or oh my God, my arms are tired, you know, to just be able to work past that. So
what kind of exercises do you use for like hip power? Because a lot of the punching power, you know, is generated from your hips. So what kind of stuff do you use?
yeah, so and I'll have to post the video, but okay, so I'm all of 5'4" on a good day, right? And Bob is not far from me.
Wait, is that stretching it?
That's stretching it. I'm like 5'3". So I stood on a box and I like tossed the 30-pound wall ball to Derek, so he had to rotate with it and then launched it to Bob. And on the first one, Bob caught it and went, and we're like, don't catch it. And he's like, I'm not gonna catch the next one. And so like I'm trying to like lob a 30-pound ball and Derek's just grabbing it and just rotating and swinging it. But that's kind of where we get that rotational power, is doing med ball stuff and landmines, things like that. But I think I caught it on camera. I'll have to post it because it was pretty funny.
Was he wearing the pad?
No, it just knocked the air out of him.
Oh man.
And I was like, don't catch it, scoot way back.
Wow.
So yeah, we forget how strong Derek is until something like that happens. We're like, oh God.
So speaking of stuff that we've got in here, the cage. So
Yeah.
have y'all been like training in the cage now?
So we did. We got in there on Tuesday. Actually, you can't see the camera, but Kristen's in there right now finishing. There's a lot that goes into that. Like no metal can be exposed because your head will find it. Like it doesn't matter. So we finally got the cage up. We've got some new mats down and now the padding around it. I mean, it's awesome. It's an awesome tool to have. There's a lot of MMA gyms and jiu-jitsu gyms that don't have a cage at all. Sometimes they'll just do cage panels. So like we're super lucky to have like a full cage.
So compared our cage versus like the actual octagon, what's the difference?
Half the size.
Really?
Yeah. The UFC cage is about 30 feet.
Wow.
Yeah. So ours is 17. So anybody wants to come in and just get in the cage, you're more than welcome to. Take off your shoes and just come in there and check it out. Like it's awesome to be in there.
So talking about getting in a cage and fighting, this is just a random story. My grandfather used to be the principal and the superintendent of a school, like when we first, like up in Higgins, so very small school. It was K through 12, right? Wow. And so they handled kind of stuff back in the old days differently.
Lock the door.
And so he told me that when he would find kids fighting, what he would do is he would go get 16-ounce gloves and put them on them and force them to fight in the gym for as long as possible until they decided that, because they're heavy gloves, pound gloves. And then by the time they started begging to stop, he'd let them stop finally.
Yeah, like hug it out. I like that.
So like all the stuff that you and I, although if you give me the ground, it's over. But like we can put on gloves and go get in the cage.
Be like, that's it.
So speaking a little bit more about the trip to New York, so it's November 1st and 2nd, right? Well, 2nd is it's UFC 244?
Yes. So, and I think we'll post soon, but I think somebody's trying to host a watch party.
Oh, really?
Because now it's an ESPN app through all the pay-per-view fights. So we can set it up for the big TV or somebody's house if somebody's hosting. But I'm also trying to get gym shirts too to just kind of represent, because there's a group of us from Grindhouse going and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I booked our hotel today.
Yeah?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so
New York is expensive.
I've never been to New York.
I'm excited for you.
Like I've never been to New York.
I love it.
And so, well, the tickets are ridiculous too.
Yeah, I know.
I was looking at that day.
It's because it's Madison Square Garden.
Okay, yeah. And so, but like even the tickets against the wall and the nose, like at the very far back, were like $231 a piece. Yeah. And then they added on like $50 in fees.
Yeah.
So basically, you're paying $280 for one ticket.
Yeah. And what sucks too though is you'll buy the ticket and you'll end up watching the big screen most of the time.
Oh. I was like, whatever, if we're gonna get it. So I went one level down.
Yeah.
And so we're right by the aisle, but I mean,
it's worth it. It
was crazy. And then I was looking at, well, our flights are not that bad. Flights are actually cheap. But the hotel, my God.
And it's in Halloween. Oh man.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, we're gonna be walking around Times Square on Halloween. Like,
I forgot that. So when are you guys going?
we have to go up there Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so because he's the co-main event, he's got to do like sign autographs, do press conference, and things like that. And we'll just be working out in between, keeping him loose.
So
Then he's gotta cut weight. Well,
exactly
hopefully.
what will be your role at the fight stuff? Like when you get there Tuesday all the way through the actual fight, all that. How does that work?
I'm probably going to be the errand girl. No, I'm just kidding. Mainly just to make sure that he stays loose. So working on his back. We'll get a workout in the morning, so doing lots of mobility stuff before he hits mitts. And he's going to be working out the whole time up until the fight. So really my job is to just kind of warm him up, cool him down, stretch him, more kind of maintenance from there.
Right.
Getting him ready for all of that.
That's so interesting.
I know. It's going to be awesome.
That's so cool. I've never been to a UFC fight either.
What? This is going to be cool.
So first time in
They're
New York.
so fun.
So
Yeah.
first time in New York. First time we went to those fights the one time with you and
Yeah.
Kristen. So I've been to fights.
Yeah. UFC is completely different, though.
Oh, I imagine.
It's awesome.
Plus, it's in Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
so I'm sure.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of sad about this one time. I was talking to my grandfather the other day. Well, this was probably when we first found out this was all going down. And I told him we were going to New York, and I was telling him we were going to Madison Square Garden, and he told me, my grandfather's 80, 85. Yeah, 80, 85. Anyway, he told me it's one thing he's never done in his entire life is go to Madison Square Garden. He wanted me to take pictures for him. And I was like, man, that's kind of sad.
Yeah. No.
Because,
Yeah.
he's 85.
Right.
I mean, he's in decent health, but he's not necessarily going to be here for
Right.
a whole lot longer.
Yeah.
And he'll probably never be able to go to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. You'll have to get him something really cool.
So I was like, oh yeah, definitely, I'll take pictures for you. He's like, I used to listen, he was telling me that with his dad, he used to listen to, I guess, the boxing matches or something, because Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that was like the mecca of boxing.
Right,
Yeah.
like back in the 50s and 60s. And so he's like, I always wanted to go there, but I never got a chance.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
That made me kind of sad.
That is kind of sad. So kind of more sad stories, but not really. So like it's interesting, like those of you that know that I lost my dad a couple years ago, but I actually was lucky enough to take my dad to the first UFC event in New York because it was illegal up until 2 years ago.
Really?
3 years ago. Yeah. MMA was illegal in New York, so the minute like they allowed it, UFC went and hosted at Madison Square Garden the Conor McGregor fight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I took my dad to go watch it. So whenever this kind of came full circle and, I got asked to help train Derek, I was like, yeah, no problem, I'll help him. And then it was like, oh, we'll be at UFC 244. And I was like, cool, in New York. I was like, what? So it actually falls on the same weekend that my dad and I were there like 3 years ago. So it was crazy. I was like, destiny.
I'm surprised you're not crying right now.
I know.
Are you holding
I've told this story a lot.
Are you holding them back?
No, I've just told this story enough to be like, I'm okay now.
So,
but it's really, it's really coming full circle, and it's really awesome opportunity.
It's
that,
crazy. Like I purposely left you alone. So I usually ping you constantly all day. Ding, 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 ding. And actually, it upset me that you muted our conversation the other day. You didn't tell me you mute our conversations.
No, I muted my phone.
Okay.
Not you. Chill out.
Man, I was like, what?
No, I had my phone on silent from when I was plugged in the radio.
Okay. You said mute, and I was like, what the hell?
No.
Anyway.
But good idea. No, I'm just kidding.
The other day, when that came up, I know that I'm kind of insensitive. We know this. All the sensitivity I had went away a very long time.
I get it.
Anyway, so I'm not the best at dealing with some sort of sensitive situations. Oh, and this other stuff, let's go into it now. Courtney's doing like this leadership thing, right? And she has to do it through her work. And it's basically they choose a group of people from her company and they go and they have them put through all these leadership courses and they kind of determine, like, they put you in like these categories and that way you can see, hey, this is how I view things and how I lead, because she's over like a few people, 4 or 5 people. Anyway, and then it determines this is how I lead. This is how these other people, I can communicate with them and it helps you become a better leader.
Okay.
So one of the things though is that she's found out that she and I are in completely different quadrants.
No.
Yes.
No.
So
that's okay. Kristen and I are too.
She calls me an extroverted thinker, Okay, that's what quadrant I am in, and I think hers is introverted feeler. Okay. So what the hell that means is basically when something comes, if I'm trying, like it's the same way I deal with you.
Yeah.
Like I just cut to the chase. Like if you did something, I don't sugarcoat.
Yeah.
At all.
But it's a good quality you have.
Sometimes.
It gets shit done. Oh, sorry.
Sometimes though, like sometimes it's
I know.
it's not the most sensitive way, but I'm like, why don't you do blah blah blah? And it's just straight to the chase.
Yes.
I mean, and sometimes like, and Courtney's like, that doesn't work for me. I'm like, it wastes time to sugarcoat everything. It's just a waste of talking. But she's right. I mean, the way she sees it, she has to the introverted feeler. She explains to me. She gave me this book. I'm gonna read it. But like they're much more emotional, and they feel, and and the stuff that they're doing, they have to feel praise, and you have to kind of work and communicate to them emotionally, and make them feel like they're not just cutting to the chase.
I think she's told me a little bit about it because her and I are pretty similar. But I'm also an extroverted feeler too. Like you'll know my emotion like that. I cannot hide how I feel. Like there is zero hiding how I feel.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. It's always in your eyes.
I know. It's my cheeks. I blame my cheeks. I'm just kidding.
But that day, it would happen. I'm usually just pinging away. Did you happen to notice?
I noticed.
I didn't send you.
I appreciated it.
I didn't send you a single message that day. Not a single one.
I know. I knew you could hold down the fort for 24 hours.
I trusted you. That was me being sensitive.
And let me recognize it out loud because I did notice it. I didn't have to mute you.
That's about as sensitive as I get.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right. So, moving on to other stuff. Talk about members. So, I'm always impressed with the people that we have in this gym. Like I really am, because one of the cool things about us being open for 4.5, almost 5 years now, is the fact that like you get to see people progress and like make so much progress, and they don't necessarily see it themselves. And so I love to come up to people and say, do you realize you're doing a snatch now, let's just say 100 pounds, and when you walked in that door, you couldn't even pick the bar up.
Which this has been testing week, and I love testing week. Like, I know you guys hate to get to testing week because we get all your complaints about what's sore and what's not, but this is the week where it's like, oh, it was worth it. Like, I love writing PR on the board. Like, it's awesome. Even today, just watching the split jerks, and yesterday the snatches, it's been really good.
So our member of the month was Eric Salgado, and man, that guy has come a long way.
Yes, and he's like a perfect example of someone who came in, like, he got injured at work, he took 2 months off, and usually when we get that message, we're like, dang, we lost somebody. And he was right back in here, but he shows up 20 minutes early to do his back work. He's been trying to get double unders, so he's practicing every single day. He does some accessory work with Steven after, but like, I mean, his progress and just, his body transforming has been just awesome. So he was actually nominated from some of the other 915ers.
He told me that, because I was asking him how his back was doing, and he's like, if I don't do stuff, my back's fine. It's like, if I don't work out and do this kind of stuff, like it makes it worse.
Yeah.
And so I've noticed a change in him, like as far as like his lifts, his body composition, like his times, him running, like I mean, he's been working his butt off.
Yeah, it's true. And there's a lot of truth to that. Like I know that we're all trying to just work out, and most of our goals are because we want to look good in the mirror, but at the same time, having muscles, I knew a girl who was doing some rock climbing, and she fell wrong, and I mean, it was bad. Like, her neck was, but she's a bodybuilder, and her traps are so big that it saved her neck from breaking. And so she kind of used that as an example to be like, don't be afraid of muscle. Like, muscle protects you. So, there's just so many benefits to resistance training other than just
who
abs.
else I was noticing the other day that I see in the evenings is Shilpa. Shilpa and Akshay. Yeah, man. Like when they came in,
both of them. Yeah.
When they came in, they can. And nothing against them. I mean, they had just started. They'd never done CrossFit before. They'd never done snatch or clean. They've never done a whole lot of stuff.
Right.
And so, was it yesterday with the snatches? No,
the day before.
Was it one?
Or was it no, yesterday, because today was clean.
Yesterday was snatches, and then the workout on Tuesday was the cleans, the hang clean and jerk. And so I was just watching her both of those days, and man, it's just like,
Great technique.
I mean,
yeah.
it's just like
It's
so
great.
much different.
I know.
It's crazy. And a lot of times the people that they just don't realize it.
No.
And so I like to point that out to them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's really, I love it. It's my favorite. It's
You know-
probably my favorite thing about this gym. I think, not to jump questions, but somebody asked, like, how do we keep going? And, with all the insanity. And that's it. Like, little bitty PRs. Like,
Right.
being able to touch your toes. Like, stuff like that you didn't think you could do, that now you can.
Couple other things. So Sugar WOD, real quick. Use Sugar WOD.
Use it.
Yes. We have 73 athletes signed up for Sugar WOD. You know how many results I see on a daily basis?
Not 73.
Not 73. It's more like 18, I
Yeah.
think, is our average.
Yeah, and how many of y'all still go back on Facebook looking for pictures of workouts? Use Sugar WOD.
Right. In fact,
Sugar WOD.
going into our next topic, the Open. So the Open is coming.
Again.
Yes. Getting away from all the whole deal of why we're having 2 Opens and whether or not blah, blah, and the games and all that. Okay. Bottom line is the Open's going to be here on October 10th. All right. And it'll last 5 weeks through November 11th. Okay. So 5 workouts. We are going to host the competition in-house. It'll be similar to last February's competition.
Yeah. Teams of 3?
3 or 4?
Yeah.
We'll release a whole bunch of other details later. That way, because if we start talking, no one's going to remember them. And then nobody will read my post anyway when I do it. but we'll have something similar. I do know that we're going to run the workouts through the Friday classes. So the last class of Friday, if we want to have Bible study,
Yeah.
then we can.
Lindsay, this is you. Tag.
The other day, he was coming out, maybe the other day, it was like a couple weeks ago, he was coming out, he's like, hey, I restocked the fridge. I said, what? He's like, restock the fridge, for Bible study. I was like, oh, okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Holy water.
Because the other day I was up here, it was Saturday, this past weekend, I don't know. And I just was having a very crazy mental day because of all the whole trip situation. And I was really pissed off at the world. And so I went in there, opened it up, and there's beer everywhere. I grabbed a beer. I was sitting here in solitude, in silence. In silence, in this desk, just drinking beer for 45 minutes.
I mean, that's okay.
I mean, the gym was completely dark, closed. I was by
That's
myself,
funny.
silence, nothing else.
I actually like working when nobody's in here. But actually, Crew Bob used our fridge the other day, and he opened it, and he's like, what is this? Aren't y'all a fitness gym? I was like, those are great post-workout carbs, first of all.
Actually, there's a study
yeah,
about that.
I was like, you're hydrating. They're all ultras and lights. It's fine.
Right. So, I mean, it's kind of like that day that I walked in. I think it was Helen. That day that I walked in, and there's 4 bottles of liquor
Oh my.
on
she
the
was
wall.
cleaning out her.
Yes. And I walked in, I'm going, what on earth? Because, people, there's 4
Yeah.
big bottles of liquor.
Yeah, you're like, that's pre-workout.
I think one of them was Grey Goose or something.
Yeah.
Vodka. It was gone fast.
Yeah, Fireball was last. No, just kidding.
So anyway, the Open is coming out. We are going to have a competition surrounded with it with teams. We'll run it through the gym, and we will have prize money and that kind of stuff. We are going to use Sugar WOD to record the workouts.
Now you don't have a choice.
Exactly. So I'm going to force Sugar WOD on all of y'all, right? And that's how I'm going to record scores. Yep. So if you do not put it in Sugar WOD, then you're not going to get a score.
Yes, you don't get points.
All right. So the other thing that we're going to do is we talked a little bit about nutrition a little bit, and so I'll let Alyssa touch on it because we're starting to get kind of over time before we get to questions. Nutrition kind of not necessarily
a challenge where you're going to win, but just a way to incorporate nutrition with your exercises. And what a better way or better timing to do it than the Open. So we've always done paleo, we've done Whole30, we've never done carb cycling. And if you've ever done one of those RP templates or anything like that, they're kind of heavy into when to eat carbs, when to not eat carbs. And so we're going to basically be doing the same thing. With the nutrition challenge or program that we're going to be doing, we're going to do a Q&A on October 5th, that's next Saturday, right after the 9 a.m. WOD. So come with any kind of nutrition question that you have. Christy will be running that Q&A. It's going to be about an hour long. So if it's, hey, I've been eating this, should I be eating this? What do you think about this? Just come with your questions, come with your notebooks, where you can record it, whatever you want to do. But from there, you're going to get a template based on when you exercise. She's going to tell you when to eat what. And then also she's going to do a cooking class, which I think is really cool. So she sets up tables. There will be utensils. She'll teach you how to cook something. You get to eat it after, maybe if it's good. And that's going to be included. So you can either sign up for just the open. Maybe you just want to do the open comp. You can sign up for just nutrition, or you can do a combo of both and really see how your nutrition helps your performance. I'm really excited about it. So.
Man, I'm so bad at nutrition.
You are horrible at nutrition.
But I don't eat 6 donuts in the mornings anymore.
I mean, it's progress.
But
I just laugh though, because you're probably like the strongest human that I know.
No.
But then you come in and I'll see like Whataburger and I'm like, Dusty Gibson.
Hey, eggs.
Meanwhile, I'm
eggs,
with my
sausage,
my mason jar yogurt.
tortilla, like that protein, carbs.
It's not real food.
Whataburger is too real
It's
food.
not real.
That's what they
it's packaged.
That's how they advertise.
I don't believe it.
That's like goes against all of their advertising.
I'm not gonna lie. If I didn't have the weakest stomach in the world, I'd probably eat whatever I want. Because I used to eat whatever I wanted.
Yeah,
I was also
you
a
end up-
little bigger.
You like eat this one random bad thing, and you're on the toilet.
It's bad. I'm sweating cold sweats, and I'm like, have you ever seen that movie Along Came Polly where Ben Stiller's eating?
he's eating the
Yeah,
Indian
he's
food.
like-
He's like, and she's like, "Are you all right?" And he's like,
He's just sweating. Yeah. One time, not too long ago, Kristen and I went somewhere, and I had a dessert, and I was like, oh no, I think there was dairy in here. And I mean, like, I called it right away, and I was just like, we gotta go home.
Wait, you went home?
Yeah, I had to. Like, I couldn't function. Like, I couldn't even stand up straight. Anyways, I have an awful stomach, so.
You think has it gotten worse?
I don't know. Kinda. If you haven't heard my vegan story, like I went vegan for like 20 days to figure out what was happening.
Yeah.
And I haven't introduced beef back or pork yet. So like I'm still just doing like mainly vegan stuff, shrimp twice a week and chicken once. And like it's worked for me so far, but I had to really switch my mindset. Like I ate like a carnivore diet. Like Kristen and I ate steaks and a giant avocado almost every meal. Like, I mean, you know, I lived with
Right.
But now it's really just like lots of rice and pasta, which is
Kristen's
weird.
food was really good.
Yeah,
Like
she
she would
cooks
make
really-
stuff, and I'm like, man, that looks pretty good. What's in there? It's like, well, it's gluten free and blah 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 blah. I'm
And you're like, no.
I go, what? That looks like, and I taste it, and it's really
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I know. Poor
So-
Kristen. poor Kristen.
So nutrition stuff, we will promise you guys. I mean, the seminar, well, the Q&A seminar is the October 5th.
Yeah,
so
next
it's
Saturday.
Next Saturday, so it's coming up. So we will release a kind of a more detail about exactly how all this stuff is going to flow. I'm really kind of looking forward to that stuff.
Yeah,
And I'm
gonna be
looking
good.
forward to Christy like being here because
Yeah.
we're lacking that nutrition component
Yeah.
to send people.
Right.
And so I'm really excited about her being here.
Definitely.
So-
it's gonna be good, and I'm just excited on her take on it. Like,
All right, so last but not least, and try not to be too long, all right? But
no ice machine.
questions from members. Man, Helen went to work on these
I
questions.
know. Thank you, Helen.
Like a 1, 2, 3, 4 questions from Helen. So the ice machine, no, no. We're gonna get this question every time.
I know. Even when we had the freezer, you know how many times I had to clean up exploded bangs? Not happening.
Yeah, so let's say no, and we'll move on.
You know, there's an Arctic right there.
Hey, actually, did I tell you I met that guy?
No.
The owner?
Came by?
So he
The boot guy?
He owns the boot place.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was looking in one day.
Oh, cool.
Him and I guess he has a manager or an owner that runs that.
Oh, wow.
And so he was talking to me, and we were talking about working out, and he said, "Yeah, I own Arctic," and I said, "What?"
Yeah. You're like, sponsor me.
Because you know he's
That's
like,
funny.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a really nice guy. I'm not saying
Right.
that people who make gobs of money
Yeah,
are not nice, but
no, I know.
he was just like really. He's like, yeah, I used to work out, but I started Arctic, and it just kind of went downhill. And I worked so
Yeah.
much, I haven't been able to work out again. So you know me, I'm always trying to sell
Yeah.
people working out.
Yep.
Like random people.
You come at 3 a.m.
Like, you know, random people will be walking by.
I know. Okay, so
And I will try and
I
sell-
want to chase them with our postcards sometimes and be like, "Can I talk to you about your fitness?" like a is it Mormons that ride the bikes that knock door to door? Like that's how I feel.
Yes.
Like, that's what I want to do with my pamphlet and be like, "Hey."
Yeah. Speaking of those guys, they used to visit. I know they're here, but they used to visit college towns a lot too. When I was in College Station, they came to visit me a whole bunch. Really nice people.
Because y'all need the Lord in college. No, I'm just kidding.
You went to college too?
Just kidding.
But you know, it's amazing to me that they're like they go, you know, they're from like some random place way far away, and then they send them to a completely isolated area that they don't only buy about, and then they have to go do this stuff.
Yeah, it's. I actually went on an adventure in Utah, and so when we landed in the airport, I mean that's where BYU was,
right.
And so you know they go on mission for months at a time. So like when we were coming down, I felt like I was being welcomed into Utah, but there were people in missions coming back, and I mean there was like just people everywhere just cheering. So it's really cool to see, like, you know, they sacrifice a lot of their time to go out in the middle of nowhere.
That's
you know?
That's a lot of courage, and like I mean just to go.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I was camping for 4 days and was like, I gotta go home.
All right, so Joe asks tacos or pizza. So you want to take, what do you want?
Being that I have a lot of food allergies, so I'm gonna go with tacos. Also, I'm Hispanic, so tacos all day.
Pizza.
But breakfast tacos.
Pizza.
I mean, I guess I found a vegan pizza I can have, but it tastes really bad.
How is it vegan? Like, what's it?
It's like cauliflower crust, fake cheese. They use different seasonings. It's even fake meat, plant-based pepperoni.
How do you have plant-based pepperoni?
I don't know. They use beets and just, I don't know.
Does it look
But I'm not
like...
gonna lie, I used to steal some of Jace's pepperonis to put on top of it. Because I was like, I can do this. And then I'd be like, oh, Jace has some pepperonis. Let me line it up.
So for those listening, my son is obsessed with pepperonis. So when we order him pizza at the, you know, if we go to restaurants or whatever, he'll only eat the pepperonis off the pizza. That's it. That's what he calls pizza. And so we have to force him to eat the actual pizza. And so like Courtney buys him like packages of just pepperonis, and he goes in the refrigerator, opens up the drawer, and just eats the pepperoni straight. Which I'll admit, like, I like pepperonis too. So, but the one thing about pepperonis is you never smell them.
No.
Like
it's
never,
weird.
don't ever smell them, because if you open them up, you smell them. Oh my God, it smells like ass.
Ew, gross.
You've never
I don't think I've never smelled a pepperoni package.
You've never smelled a package of pepperonis? Like you open it up and it's just like, oh my God.
Okay, so back to like being vegan, I tried something called jackfruit. Don't.
What is that?
It's a fruit, but it has like the almost like the similarity of meat, so they season it like meat. And so it was actually good, but I kept looking at it, and it has these like pores that look like a heart, and I was like, I can't do it. Like I couldn't chew it anymore.
Wait. It has pores that look like a heart. Like what do you mean?
It looks like a heart. Have you ever heard that? Like, you know, like what Tyrone was telling me, like walnuts look like brains, like different things. Like this thing has like, it looks like an actual heart, like in the fruit, and I just like kept staring at it, and I was like, I can't eat this. So I tried. Jackfruit. It's the worst smelling thing. It was gross.
So a couple more questions and then we'll get it cut off. So Helen and Kojo asked about GH Austin and GH Washington, D.C.
We're done buying gyms.
I'm always looking. I'm always looking.
I mean, Kojo, call us. I love Austin. Helen, give me a holler.
Yeah.
We'll work remotely. But honestly,
It's
if we're
hard.
going to do another Grindhouse, it'll probably be Grindhouse Denver. Because I love Colorado.
You and like half the world around here apparently like love Colorado.
I love Colorado. I just want to do all the climbing.
It's very nice and pretty, but when it's like in the middle of
Yeah,
December
that's true.
or
I'd
January,
come back here during the summer, like or winter. I wouldn't lie. I've never actually even seen snow.
wasn't like Keels posting pictures like last year in May? And
it was still snowing. Yeah.
Like 16 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 100 degrees here.
It's true. I'll keep my humidity.
Right. So definitely like I'm always on the lookout for additional gyms, but it's hard when you're not actually there. That's one thing that I have found out over the course of the last 4 years, is that if you are not there, like it's very hard for places to work because nothing runs exactly like you would want it to run.
That's true.
So, unfortunately, probably not.
Sorry, guys.
I'm going to skip a couple because the one from Courtney, sorry, Court.
We'll get you next time, girl.
We will get you next time because why did you choose Alyssa to go into business with you and how did she react? So
then we'll be here forever.
I know. That'd be like another hour-long conversation.
That's true.
So I will circle that one and we will get into that one the next time.
Gina's.
Let's go with Gina, yes. So Gina Hanley, do you have to watch what you eat or do you work out so hard it doesn't matter? So
one of us watches, one of us does not.
I watch what I eat.
As it goes into your mouth.
No, not like that.
I'm totally kidding.
I don't.
Actually, Courtney cooks really good food for you, so yes.
She does.
She does.
It doesn't have a whole lot of. I don't have a whole lot of vegetables, but
Yeah.
you know, I do like broccoli a whole bunch.
Do you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Especially like steamed broccoli.
Steamed broccoli's good, or if Shira makes it.
I like carrots.
I like carrots.
You know, I like the normal fruits like apples, bananas.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, my diet is not the best, right? But I'm not crazy with just fast food all the time. I mean, in the mornings I eat like, you know, fast food.
Yeah.
but
your lunches and stuff like that.
Whataburger, you know,
Yeah.
the taquitos, it has protein, eggs,
Yes.
and sausage.
You could also make it at home. No, you can't. You're busy. Never mind. Just kidding. Just kidding. I know your schedule.
Wait, so let's say this. Do you have to watch what you eat? Yes, but I do work out pretty much 7 days a week, which is something I don't condone for everybody.
For lots of hours.
For long periods of time. So I think it kind of evens out. But the problem is that, yes, we're all getting older, and me especially, I'm getting older. And so your metabolism slows down. And just to kind of give you guys a little bit about me personally, I've recently found out that my thyroid is not functioning like it should. And so my family has a long history of hypothyroidism. And hypo means it's not burning or it's not functioning at the high of a level it should. And so I've always tried to stave off that problem. Like I knew it was coming. It was coming, but my family is not necessarily the healthiest people on the planet. And so I was hoping that I wouldn't have to deal with that until potentially later on in life. But recently I found out that my thyroid is just not functioning.
Right.
It's not bad, but it's not in normal range.
I got you.
And so for metabolism, your thyroid controls a lot of functions in your body. And for my metabolism,
Oh gosh. Technical
the whole time, and Alyssa. So, I mean, I had to start taking some thyroid medicine. And talking about diet and nutrition, you know, as I get older, I'm still going to have to deal with thyroid issues.
Right.
And, you know, that'll slow down my metabolism, and I'm going to have to pay more attention to what I eat. But as of right now, I kind of take the Matt Frazier approach, which he at this point though used to like he just his schedule is insane.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he gets up in the morning. He pretty much eats.
I mean, their job is to work out, though. You know.
He relatively eats relatively. I mean, he has a plan of what he's supposed to be eating, but then he works out, then he eats, he works out, then he eats, and so he's eating like thousands and thousands and thousands of calories a day, and at some point it becomes kind of like, remember like Michael Phelps? Like,
yes.
We're not burning as many calories as he am, but that's kind of my take on it, that, you know, Michael Phelps was eating like 10,000 calories, something crazy. And you look at the food he was eating, and it was like eggs, bacon, steak, like all this stuff. And normally people are like, why are you eating all that stuff? Because he needs it.
Yeah, he needs it. I, on the other hand, I do watch what I eat. I eat...
You're very good at watching what you eat.
I'm lucky that my wife meal preps for us for the week, but I'm also a very routine person, and I basically can eat the same thing all the time. So it depends on what workout I have that day. But, you know, if you're asking to lose weight, it is a, you know, quantity over, you know, calories in versus calories out, but it's also just what kind of food you're eating, you know?
Yeah, like for body composition. And I think that that's something that, man, there's so many things on my list of stuff that I need to... Nutrition is one of my weak points when it comes to knowledge. And so I'm always constantly have a list of things that, hey, I need to research, I need to read, I need to know more about this. And nutrition is one of those high priorities on that list.
Yeah, same.
Because we all have a general, and you know more than I do, but I have a good general idea of what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to be eating, but still, like, you're talking about calories in, calories out. It's pretty simple, but then you start thinking about your macros, and I know that I have too many carbs.
Yeah.
I mean, I eat way too many carbs, and so, you know, that the makeup of your macros, Gina, I mean, is kind of what determines some of what your body composition. So once, if you're really trying to lose weight, you know, you have to have less calories. Like, you burn more calories than you eat, pretty much.
Yeah.
Calories in, calories out. And the opposite for gaining weight. But then, if you're getting down to your composition of what your body makeup is going to be,
Yeah, and what you need.
then it's how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat, how many grams of carbs, and that stuff plays into it.
And a lot of it has to do with genetics too. So we did one of those DNA tests. And Kristen actually sent hers back to get a food sensitivity. And so on that, it tells her, like, diet doesn't really affect her body composition. Oh no, I'm sorry. Diet does affect her body composition. Exercise does not.
Really?
So she could literally work out in here all day, and she would probably, it would take her a really long time to look like very strong. Whereas I'm almost the opposite. Like, and even just seeing from my dad was very muscular, and it doesn't. I can do a strength cycle, and all of a sudden I'm like, dang it, I need another shirt. Like, you know, but. You know, so it all just kind of depends on genetics and your macros. But Gina, yeah, come find me. I can help you put in macros on your phone and kind of help you adjust from there. That's usually what I do for my one-on-one clients. Shout out to John, who's lost 50 pounds, by the way. All for me controlling his every move. Just kidding.
Hey, and now he's wanting to show off, right?
Yeah, now he's showing off. He's talking smack to Derek Lewis. It's funny.
He's trying to get his Amazon people in here too.
Yeah, his whole team's coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
it's gonna be awesome.
He's going to be like, I flip tires.
Yeah. I'm going to put chains on him and be like, no, this is how we work out every time. Every time. It's going to be awesome.
You know, he does all that stuff. Didn't he tell you that he thinks my workouts are, like, intimidating?
Your CrossFit stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. And I have him doing crazy stuff.
I mean, he's over there, like, he's in here a lot. And so he's over there flipping tires and, like, all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, dude, you're doing the same stuff.
Yeah, I know. I just hide my workouts better.
That's one thing that I do not understand. So, like, you have all this Alyssa Fit stuff. And I look at your workouts, and I'm not dogging your workouts. I'm like, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
It's the same crap that we're doing.
Yeah, it's just different.
But
different domains.
Because it's called Alyssa Fit.
Oh my gosh.
It's different.
I mean, you know.
So I will say that you don't focus quite as much on the assault bike as I do.
Just for the fighters will tell you differently.
Well, so yeah, for them, like, I imagine the assault bike is awesome for them.
Yeah, it's gnarly. So I kind of. And I do, like, I mean, we're all one gym, right? So there's some things where I'm like, let me make it a little more fighter focused. But I made them this workout. It was a 2K row, because fish out of water the other week. But every minute on the minute, they have to get off the row and do 2 100-pound balls over the shoulder, and then get back on the row until they finish 2K.
Right.
And, like, yeah, I was just watching all of them, and I was like, oops. Keep going. But it was good.
All right, last couple of questions. So Lindsay Morgan asked us about the final round and MMA and stuff. So Alyssa kind of already addressed it about being intimidated. You know, I would tell you guys, just don't be intimidated, because there are people over there that have never done anything. And one of the people that's really impressed me, I mean, like, Shira, like, she's gone all in.
All in. She's in jiu-jitsu and everything.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because she was a competitive salsa dancer, and I think the way that you learn kickboxing is the same, like 1, 2, 3s, and your step and your footwork. So I think it really translated her, like, really well for her.
Yeah, and so
Kelly Roberts too. He's come in.
Is he still doing striking?
He's still doing striking. The Busbees are doing jiu-jitsu. Like, it's awesome. Like, I want more of you guys to come out there and, like, don't be intimidated. Like, come at least once. Make that your goal in October. 1 class with Alyssa. It's the only opportunity you get to punch me.
I'm telling you, if I said 1 class doesn't get to punch him, I get.
Like,
there'd be a lot of people like, you're nice. You know.
You're nice too. They'll put Derek's gloves. We'll let you put Derek's giant 24-ounce glove on. Like, that thing is crazy.
All right, so last question we are going to save until next time, because it's a good topic. It was from Helen again. It says, how often do you question your sanity for taking on a side job? And when you question the value, what keeps you going? So that can be addressed to both of us, because both of us has a lot of stuff going on. But that's a conversation that would take another hour for us to discuss. So we will come back to Courtney's question, Helen's question on our next one, probably like 3 or 4 weeks from now.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is fun for us because it gives Alyssa and I a chance. As much as Alyssa and I are together in this, like sometimes we really don't get a chance to talk to each other a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
Unless it's just ding, ding,
Yeah.
do this. Hey, Dusty, you need to do this. Alyssa, you need to do this. And it's like it's a lot of it's business related.
Yeah,
And
it's
trying to
true.
get projects. And so
Yeah.
I think for me, this thing is kind of fun because we get to like get
Yeah.
back to just having fun talking about stuff.
Yeah, and talking about what we love the most, which is Grindhouse. So it's fun. But yeah, we have such polar opposite. Like I try to get here, 6 a.m. I have early clients, or I'm here at 7, and then I'm here for 8 hours, and I'm like, I gotta go home and eat, and then I come back most of the time, twice a week at least. So our
guys,
schedules are-
thank you guys for your questions. Really appreciate it. Give us some feedback. So if there's things that you guys want to hear, not necessarily questions or stuff you want to talk about. I mean, if you think this thing sucks, all right, or
tell him, not me. I'm too sensitive to cover that.
that's
No, I'm just kidding.
right. Cut to the chase with me. Just tell me straight up. We're more than happy to listen to criticism, feedback, good stuff. This time we went over like by a long shot. So if you guys are still listening and we haven't bored you to death at this point, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
But we will catch you guys next time, sometime in October, probably in the middle of the Open.
Yes.
And we can talk about all the complaints.
Yeah, I'll do my best Dave Castro impression. 19.253 is. I'm just kidding.
All right. Until next time, guys. Q&A with Dusty and Alyssa.
Waynesboro!
You got it. Waynesboro.